The 49ers joint practice with the Denver Broncos revealed that the 49ers have found their new spark plug. I'm going to tell you all about it in this episode. Hit subscribe if you're looking for daily 49ers content. As always, let's jump straight into it, starting with this clip of Upton Stout. Absolutely immense. Take a look at his coverage. Sticky man coverage. 3 steps with the interception, one-hander. I mean, absolutely incredible. I'm sure you've already watched this before, but just watch it again. This is crazy. Oh my word. What a pick. Now, Upton Stout, of course, I don't need to say this. You already know it. The guy is unreal. He is blowing everybody away. The best comparison I've heard for him in terms of the kind of rookie value he's bringing to the 49ers right now is a guy in Dominic Purdy, who Dominic Purdy only got a shot because of injuries. Upton Stout is making a name for himself, and he's absolutely earned it. I'm so stoked about him. Here's what Fred Warner had to say about Upton Stout today after the joint practice with the Denver Broncos.
I think that's the great thing about Upton is I don't think anybody's had to really say much to him. I think he's made of the right stuff. It's not about him trying to go out there and prove anything to anybody. I think he's exactly made of the right stuff, and he is who he is, and he shows that every single day without people having to tell him what to do. So that is nice when you got a rookie who just gets it, right? And so I think the sky's the limit for him.
Matt Mayoko today, actually, while we're talking about Upton Stout, Matt Mayoko today after training camp was talking about how one of the things he likes, or actually it might have been Jennifer Lee Chan, but whatever. After training camp, they were talking about how it is so awesome that every time you hear someone talk about Upton Stout, they're smiling, they're optimistic, they're enthusiastic. There's really nice, what is the word? What do you call that? Superlatives, right? To describe this kid. He is not just another player. He is an energy. He is a standout athlete, and he brings an intensity to this football team that we really haven't had. I love the whole K'Wan Williams thing because it kind of takes you back to a time when the San Francisco 49ers did not have to have their nickel cornerback playing both sides, playing inside and outside. And Deommodore Lenoir is capable. He's shown he's more than capable, and that's great. But that's not the ideal scenario. Obviously, you'd like to have a guy who's really, really good at one thing and can just absolutely lock it down, because anytime Deommodore Lenoir moves inside, then you have a potential risk in that corner spot. So absolutely, it is so awesome that he is killing it right now. Absolutely love it. Some other things that we learned. I'm just going to go at these. I thought this is the best highlights I saw. Or is that even the right way to say that? I don't even know if that's the right way to say it. But here are the highlights that I saw. I thought at 49ers Sports Talk handled this one really, really well, saying the Broncos joint practice takeaways, bar one thing that's missing, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But no Trent equals offensive line struggles for San Francisco. No doubt the Broncos were definitely putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback, a lot of would-be sacks out there today. Purdy and Pearsall continue clicking so well. That continued to happen as well. Jordan Watkins continues to shine. This is a guy who we've talked about Jordan Watkins several times on this channel. The way that Kyle Shanahan is with wide receivers, you don't want to take a guy like Jordan Watkins and throw him on your fantasy team like I did, because you know that there's a huge risk that he might not even feature for the whole year, which is what we saw with a guy like Jacob Cowing, who hardly featured for the entire year. But what Jordan Watkins is doing right now in training camp, plus the injuries and the opportunity available to him, he continues to take advantage of those opportunities, and he's going to get a look for that reason. Russell Gage continues to get open. This is a guy who not that long ago had over 700 yards for the Atlanta Falcons and is going to have another opportunity for the 49ers given the injury situation and the way things are playing out with the depth chart. Russell Gage is going to make this team, and he's going to have an opportunity. So that's fantastic for him. Nick Bosa dominated McClinchy and Bowles. That's fantastic news as well. Not a huge surprise, but when you think about the fact that the Denver Broncos offensive line is rated in the top 10, some people say in the top 5, that Denver Broncos thing I went to with my brother-in-law, they were talking about how everybody had them rated top 5 offensive line in the league, and Nick Bosa showing that he can still dominate even against the best. Mac Jones looking sharp again. Upton Stout repping with the ones at nickel again. Mykel Williams has a knee injury scare. The good news is everything looks to be like okay. It's not horrible. And at least that's not what the initial look is. They'll do more scans and have more information for us in the next couple of days. But the good news is like Mykel Williams is not out. That's the big thing. The initial look did not look really bad. So that's fantastic news as well. Something that you might want to see if you haven't seen this yet. This is Alfred Collins, in the words of Coach Yak, absolutely bullying people. Get a look at this. I mean, here's the thing. It's training camp. We're not going to make too much out of it. All that good stuff, right? Disclaimers aside, the thing about Alfred Collins that we need to remember and not let go of is this guy got a really late start this year, coming into training camp with no OTAs experience because of that injury, because of the contract. Things were just a little bit funky for him, and all second-round draft picks, they were funky. And so now having Alfred Collins showing up and actually getting after it and starting to make that progress, we've heard several people say he's making daily jumps, which is a great thing to hear. Speaking of daily jumps, by the way, somewhere in here, I've got a take from Fred Warner talking about rookies and stuff about that. So I think I'll get to that at some point. But Brad Graham reporting on this exact block that you just saw there. One of my favorite reps of today with Alfred Collins jumping in the passing lane of Bo Nix. And that actually wasn't this video itself, sorry. But anyway, Nix got flustered, pulled it down, and took off with his legs, but play was directly affected by Alfred Collins. So again, this is what we want to see out of Alfred Collins. I think there was some concern because he was behind and has been behind from the outset. But if he continues to improve like this, it means that probably not at the beginning of the season, but it means that at some point in the season, there's a good shot he can work his way into the rotation with the ones. With all the injuries, the opportunity is there, and I'm sure he knows that and is going to try and take advantage of it. Here is what Fred Warner had to say about this.
I think it is a new and unique challenge that we're going through. Obviously, like you mentioned, with a lot of new faces out there on the defensive side. But man, I think we're ready for it. It now stresses how important every single day is in creating the championship defense that we want to create. You know, I can't stress enough, you can't let a day slip by, right? And that goes for every single individual and obviously as a group. You know, the importance of getting better every single day, because it's going to be not just leading up to game one, but going throughout the entire season. You know, it's not ever a finished product until the end. So, yeah, it's just taking one day at a time and not looking ahead or not looking behind. It's how can I get better every single day?
The only caution I have listening to Fred Warner there is Fred Warner a little worried about this defense right now? Because he almost sounds like the slightest bit concerned about this journey that we have, talking about it as this like new thing they're having to go through. So it definitely does feel like, I'm not going to say it's getting to him or anything like that. I'm not going to make wide sweeping claims like that, but I do have some concerns about his tone and the way he's processing that. The good news is, of course, everything he's talking about, we're seeing happen. These guys are making those daily improvements, so that's great as well. If you guys didn't see the Jordan Watkins house call, this was Mac Jones who threw this ball, if I'm not mistaken, but you can give this a watch and enjoy. Jordan Watkins, just proof of what I was talking about earlier, absolutely just showing up and continuing to be consistent and continuing to grow and continuing to show up and take advantage of opportunities that come his way. Again, that's all you can ask these players to do. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot on that, but it's because these rookies are all doing it, which is something worth celebrating. Brock Purdy had something to talk about, or had something to say about the offense and the way that they struggled against this elite Broncos defense as well. So let's give this a listen. But mind you, context going into this, the Denver Broncos have a top 5 defensive line. Some believe they have a top 5 secondary. They just got Dre Greenlaw, who, if healthy, could put them in a top 5 linebacker core. So it's very possible that this Denver Broncos team is a top 5 defense as a whole. I've seen some people say top 1, top 2. So, I'm not going to make any claims about it. I'm just going to say that this is widely regarded as a very good defense. And Brock Purdy struggled against him. I'm just going to say it like it is. And so here's his take on how he's processing the struggle that he had today against the Denver Broncos defense.
Some plays that you remember that you wish you had back and whatnot, but I thought that going up against another team and competing against another team, a bunch of different set of first-string starters in the NFL, a new scheme and stuff. I thought it was really good for our guys to all get out there and compete, find ways to move the ball and catch the ball against tight coverage and things like that. So I feel like you can't get enough of those kind of reps. But for them to come in and give us different looks and stuff and face some adversity, have a couple bad plays, how do you bounce back, how do you finish practice, all those kind of things. Those are huge things. And so I thought it was a good day overall.
And how they did bounce back is worth paying attention to as well. Ricky Pearsall having a nice touchdown. Their offense getting Christian McCaffrey going. We'll hear a little bit about that in a minute. And then being able to actually move the ball down the field and move the chains. So that's the adversity he's talking about there. And they did it today. They managed to go from Brock Purdy throwing 2 picks early on to then figuring things out and getting a rhythm. And that's what you want to hear. I don't care if he throws picks. I really don't in training camp. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. If he's throwing picks, he's throwing picks. But if they're not growing from it, that's what I get concerned about. And so to see that progression, and that's what I want to hear. Here's Brock Purdy talking about Christian McCaffrey getting going.
It's awesome. Obviously, to get Christian the ball in space in that situation is the 2-minute drive. And so to be able to have him come out of the backfield, catch a couple balls, run the ball, get the first down, move the chains. Obviously, he's a guy that the defense has to be accounting for, and the minute he goes into a one-on-one situation, I'm drooling over that, and I want that, and we got to capitalize on that. So today I thought we got some really good work out of that, and then obviously, I think by him being there, you get other guys that open up as well. So that was really good.
A funny question, that I've heard people asking is this team too Christian McCaffrey reliant? And I think it's absolutely fair to say it is Christian McCaffrey reliant. I don't know if you can say it's too Christian McCaffrey reliant in the same way that you look at the Ravens and say, is it too Derrick Henry reliant? Or you'd look at another team and say, you know what I mean? Every team has players on it that, are the Ravens too Lamar Jackson reliant? Every team is reliant on a handful of really important players. The 49ers are reliant on the Fred Warner. The difference obviously being that Christian McCaffrey's had injuries, and so there's concern there. I get that. That's fine, whatever. But the 49ers were willing to pay big money to bring Dre Greenlaw back, who has had injuries as well. So I don't really get the narrative. I don't really buy in entirely to the narrative. It is fair to say, though, when you look at the running back room and you look at Isaac Guerrero out for several weeks, Jordan James broke a finger and he's going to be out for a few weeks. Yeah, you kind of need Christian McCaffrey to be 100% healthy and nothing can go wrong for the guy. Then after that, we lost Israel Abanikanda. So just the depth chart down to Patrick Taylor Jr. there, and you're just running out of players really fast. And that's definitely a concern. But I'd say that the fact that we're too Christian McCaffrey reliant is not just Christian McCaffrey's fault. It's not just because he's an incredible player. And like Brock Purdy just said, he can open things up when he's on the field. It's also because those other guys behind him are not able to stay healthy. Jordan Mason couldn't either. Jordan Mason goes in there and he's absolutely destroying last year, which is exactly what we predicted, exactly what we expected to happen. And he went in there and he did an incredible job when given the opportunity, until he had a shoulder injury. And just like that, all of a sudden things change. So, is this team too Christian McCaffrey reliant? I guess in a way, yes. The team is too Christian McCaffrey reliant, but it's not that simple. Don't oversimplify it that much. Jason Aponte throwing this report out there, talking about how good the Denver Broncos defense was, saying most reports indicate Denver's defense getting the better of the 49ers offense, but bouncing back and finishing strong at the end of practice is absolutely a positive. And this is the point that I was trying to make earlier. As good as Denver's defense is, it's possible the 49ers don't face a defense as good as this maybe once or twice this whole regular season. Think about that for a second. having this opportunity, which we know Kyle Shanahan does not love preseason games. He doesn't want to play his big players in preseason games. He does, however, love joint practices. He thinks they're more valuable than preseason games. And so this is the best possible scenario for the 49ers to play against a team that they're not going to see all season long, that they could only meet because they're AFC, only meet in the Super Bowl. And you know, that's a whole nother thing. I'm not even going to go there. We're not talking Super Bowl. To have this set up and then for it to be such an incredibly good team or growing team with a lot of hype and a lot of excitement around them, that's a good sign as well. One last thing that just to kind of make you feel good about everything in case you're feeling a little down right now. Here's Brock Purdy talking about that touchdown pass to Ricky Pearsall and their growing connection.
Obviously, it just depends on, you know, the look and the scenario. Right there, we had man coverage and one-on-one with Ricky, and we had a good route called on so that if he did get that luck, he's going to take it up to the sideline. And it's something that we've been practicing on this whole offseason on laying the ball and him being where he needs to be and him fighting through contact and getting separation, and then the ball was right there. And it was just good timing, something that we've been repping, and so I'm glad we got that against another defense in a crucial situation. I think it was third down, and we needed that, and we made the catch and scored. So obviously, I love the fact that we were able to do that, but it just goes back to us building reps on reps on reps all these last couple practices throughout camp and stuff, and we need to continue to do that going into the season.
So they're just trust the process because it's continuing to work. Mac Jones gets a touchdown to Jordan Watkins. Brock Purdy gets a touchdown to Ricky Pearsall. All things are pointing in the right direction despite a lot of negative downward direction on the injury front. I still feel really good about where this team is going if they can stay healthy, knock on wood. Let me know in the comments what you think. As always, appreciate you guys. On Saturday, we have a preseason game. Between now and then, I'm hoping to do a video with Sports Talk Denver tomorrow where he's going to share some insight on how the Denver media is covering the 49ers and how they're feeling based on what they're seeing from their perspective. So I think it's going to be a really, really interesting conversation. I kind of talked with him for a minute today and just got a little bit of a feel of some of the good things that they are thinking about Christian McCaffrey. I won't go any deeper. I won't tease anymore. Come back tomorrow for that video. Appreciate you guys and hope you guys have a fantastic evening.